It's no secret the franchise has been a little bit neglected for the last couple of years. Pretty much, we expected an update to trades and everything else, and all we really got was a UI system. Honestly, there hasn't been much done in franchise over the last couple of years, and franchise player and offline players have been a little bit disappointed. Anyways, this year I kind of expected a little bit more of the same. And then when I saw that there wasn't many updates to franchise, I thought we got nothing. However, they put out a stream and they told us that they improved trade logic. Now, I definitely think there's a lot more stuff that needs to be fixed in franchise, but that is kind of a big one. You would see some really, really ridiculous trades. So today, that's kind of what I want to do. I want to see if that holds up and if franchise players are just going to be upset for another 365 days. So we're going to look for some of the worst trades in all of baseball. Now, I don't know if it's changed this year, but something tells me that not really. In years past, what would happen is I would select a young player or a talented player, and I would select him, and the bar would move accordingly to the left, and it would tell me I need to get that bar all the way to this side and slightly to the other side for the team to be agreeable and select my trade. So essentially, I would find three prospects that I don't really care about or think would develop that well, and I would start to offer stuff, and then the trade value would go all the way down. Now, obviously, Anthony Santander is not a no-name prospect. He is a major league player, switch hitting outfielder who people think will be very good. So, in theory, I would select Anthony Santander and Ramon Urias. And look, that's at neutral. I can probably select not the best prospect after. And that's it. We're definitely interested in making this deal. Now, the problem is that, the better the player, the higher the bar goes in the opposite direction, and the better players you need to give up. However, in baseball, there are some players who we know it's very unlikely they get traded. I don't see Mike Trout getting traded from the Angels, and there's a lot of prospects that some teams will not get rid of. And so with that, they invented trade logic this year. And basically that they added some factors like someone like Mike Trout, and that bar should go significantly higher and it should be significantly harder to make a trade. Well, I want to see how true that is. For instance, let's do some finagling. That bar looks a little bit high. We've got Shohei Ohtani. He's not making that much money. 1 year left before you have to re-sign him. So, maybe the Angels are willing to get rid of an MVP a year after him getting, winning the MVP. Is that possible? Can we get Shohei 95 overall, only 27 and only making 4.3? You would think these factors, that bar should be all the way high and it should be nearly impossible to trade him. I'm sure if I go through the other 29 teams, I can probably find a possible trade. Maybe I gotta give props to MLB this show. I think this was the best value trade I could find. I don't know why when I added Garrett Stallings, it made such a huge difference compared to some other players. Some other players won as well, but that Garrett Stallings one, the trade logic on this player did not make any sense to me. I added him with only Cedric Mullins, and the trade value went down significantly. I also tried to do suggest trade, and the Angels were not willing to make a trade. But maybe it's not the Orioles. Maybe if I find a team with some more loaded prospects, some younger players with higher overalls, maybe I'll get a chance to steal Shohei or Mike Trout. I mean, is this the worst trade possible? I don't think it's the worst trade possible. It's definitely up there. The only reason we can't do this is for budgetary reasons. But otherwise, honestly, Chris Sale made all the difference. So, I also threw in a couple of prospects, but I think even just Chris Sale would have got this trade done. However, he's 33. He's kind of injury prone. I'm sorry to say, Red Sox fan, he's injury prone. He gets hurt every year. And he's got 3 years left on his contract, I guess at 29 mil. Shohei in the last year, 4 mil, probably going to ask for a lot of money, even though this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy are kind of making a lot of money. I'm pretty sure they're going to work it out. But I really should not should be able to trade 33-year-old Chris Sale for Shohei Ohtani. It's not the worst, but I feel so far like nothing's changed. It's the same trade logic. It's just make the bar go to the other side. There's some prospects, but still, no, it's a no for me. So another thing I've already come to notice is that if you suggest trades, they'll tell you that there are no trades found. But obviously, if you move the bar far enough, There will be trades allowed. Don't get me wrong. Brandon Lowe, Shane McClanahan, Kevin Kiermaier. That is a big haul. But if you're just trying to rebuild real quick and you want Mike Trout on your team, it's gonna happen. You're gonna trade for Mike Trout. It doesn't matter. The problem with this is not even that much that you're trying to, get the best players all in one team. Although it kind of is. It's just it makes franchise really difficult, because if you are like me who tries to win within 5 years for a quick YouTube video, well, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna consolidate as many of my worthless prospects into really, really good prospects. I don't care about double A. I don't have any feelings attached to triple A or even single A that you don't see in this game. And I'm then going to trade it for players who are going to go ahead and win me a championship within 5 years. So then it becomes really, really easy to do that. I mean, it's not the worst trade ever. You are trading a guy who may be regarded as one of the future outfielders of all of baseball, not the best defender, but then you're literally trading him for Yordan Alvarez, who's a terrific hitter, but he's a one-way player. He can't play defense to save his life. Luis Garcia showed that he's a very, very good pitcher, but he also is right-handed and only throws 93. And then 37, Yuli Gurriel at $7 million a year was like, you know what? I think that's where we agree with giving you Ronald Acuna, the future of baseball. Want to know what's even crazier about the trade logic? It doesn't matter what side I'm on. If you're offering the trade, they're always going to think that they deserve more. So when I try to offer Ronald Acuna to the Angels, they said we think we deserve to get more. When I try to offer Mike Trout to the Braves thought that they should be getting more. So there isn't an actual logic. It's just, if you're trying to make a trade with me, I hold the card. So I need you to give up more than what this is actually worth, even though the trades are genuinely stupid, because I will add 2 prospects that mean absolutely nothing and get it done, regardless of this being a good trade or not. So you know how obviously we have a potential system. The higher the potential, the higher the player's value goes up. A potential, obviously very good. I'm adding a 23-year-old A potential, 81 overall. That sounds amazing. Only making $500,000. You take a lot of this into consideration. This is a good little trade piece. His value is pretty good. That's why the bar moves down significantly. I can probably find 2 other pieces to throw in and make a trade happen. You want to know what's always been in MLB, the show? A potentials who are 38 years old, 87 overall, getting $20 million at 38 and making a significant dent in the trade. Why would anyone take this in a Jacob deGrom trade? Now, obviously, would have to probably give up something good, but still, why would anyone take on a 38-year-old making $20 million a year? Granted, Charlie Morton, obviously a very good baseball pitcher, obviously can help a club out, but he's 38 years old. Mike Trout is 33. Not Mike Trout. Jacob deGrom is 33 and still has 2 years left at 27. I just don't get it. I mean, I guess Kirby Yates is a good baseball player. He's still 35 and a closer. Maybe it makes sense. Darren O'Day is 39. That's too much. That's too much for a 39-year-old submariner making $2.5 million. It's too much. No one should be interested in Darren O'Day. No one should say, you know what, Darren O'Day, if you find me 2 good pieces with Darren O'Day, I might give you Jacob deGrom. All right, maybe this one actually makes sense. If the Brewers come to me with Corbin Burnes and 2 minor league prospects, I'm giving up deGrom. I'm giving him up as long as Corbin Burnes agrees to signing a long-term contract. I'm giving him up with the quickness. Yeah, I might actually do this one. All right, MLB The Show. This one's not that bad. All right, now just for a second, imagine that you are, the Nationals front office, and the Astros are like, you know what? Why don't we give you Kyle Tucker, 39-year-old Justin Verlander, and Corey Lee? Now you're looking at this and you're like, wow, this looks like an amazing trade. We're getting Justin Verlander, an amazing pitcher at only 39 years old, at $25 million a year for 2 years, at age 39 and age 40. And Kyle Tucker, who's a fantastic player, very good hitter, but you're giving up Juan Soto, and you're like, you know what? I don't even need to think about it anymore. Juan Soto, pack your bags up. You're headed to Houston. I think this is a good trade for both sides, so this is pretty good to me. Listen, I was so close to making this one work, like this close to trading Justin Verlander and Yuli Gurriel. Corey Lee must be a fantastic prospect, catcher, who everyone wants, because when I put him, the trade goes, but I was so close to making 37-year-old Yuli Gurriel and 39-year-old Justin Verlander for Corbin Burns. That very close. A little bit more work and we would have had him. Can I interest you in some oldie but goldie? 38-year-old $20 million cap relief for, quite frankly, one of the best relievers in all of baseball. I get it. He's an 87-year overall. Charlie Morton is 38, making $20 million a year. Devin Williams is 27, 87 overall, making just over $500,000 a year. And they're like, yeah, we'll take that. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure they would take any of these oldies off my hands. Kirby Yates. How about a Darren O'Day? It wouldn't even take much. It wouldn't even take much to take one of the best relievers in all of baseball. Like, oh, brother. 39-year-old Darren O'Day has that much trade value. Hey, sticking with the oldies. Listen, I get it. All right. Charlie Morton is a very good baseball player, but he's 38 years old. All right. I get it. He's good. He's 38 years old. He's an 87. He's making $20 million a year. I should not be trading him for Ke'Bryan Hayes for literally Charlie Morton and literally anyone else. That should not happen. All right. Maybe I'm wrong and I'm not good at this franchise stuff. I would not. All right. If you come to me asking for Charlie Morton, all right, or excuse me, asking for Ke'Bryan Hayes, and you're like, yeah, I got Charlie Morton and some guy named Tyler Owens, I might smack you. That's all I'm saying. First of all, I should be able to trade Jazz Chisholm for any single player in this game. All right, if I offer him for Mike Trout, you should be like, yes, we want Jazz. We want Jazz. All right, do you love Jazz? Yes, I love Jazz. That's all I'm saying. You don't think that's enough value? $500,000 for 32 mil. Equally productive players. That's all I'm saying. Maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit. All right, what would it take for the best defensive center fielder? Not a blockbuster, not a huge trade. I asked and it says no trade found. I'm pretty sure that's the only thing they did. They made it so that when you did suggest trades, it wouldn't do it, but you could still find the trades manually because I add Andrew Painter and suddenly I traded 3 B potential prospects making $70,000 a year. And they're able to make this trade. So you're telling me if I suggest trade, you're not able to find that one guy, Andrew Painter, to make this trade happen? Is that I already got the first 2 for you? So I think that's the only thing they've really done is that they've made suggest trades a little bit less suggestible, and the trades don't work. But you can. It doesn't even matter. Like there, Adam Hazley. All right, 25 C potential, 69 overall, making $500,000, and that makes the trade happen. I mean, Harrison Bader is not Mike Trout, but I'm just saying, one of the best defensive players in baseball, 27 years old, 84 overall, making $2 million a year. I don't know. All right, maybe I don't know that much about the Miami Marlins, but Trevor Rogers obviously has a high trade value. I think he finished top 15 in WAR and ERA for pitcher. Fernando Tatis finished like 6th, 7th, or 8th in WAR for all offensive players, non-pitchers. Actually, all pitchers and all players in all of baseball. So maybe this isn't the worst trade, and maybe you're willing to pull the trigger on either side, but then it's really just Trevor Rogers straight up for Fernando Tatis. All I did was add in 2 other random players. I think a D overall right fielder making $700,000, which should be the opposite if you ask me. And then Jose Salas, who I guess is going to be Fernando Tatis's replacement, over in San Diego, 18 years old, B potential, 60 overall, 70K a year. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know he's a good pitcher. Trevor Rogers, not a good pitcher. He's an elite pitcher. One of the better starters in baseball. And I think he's got room to get better. 2.6 ERA, 2.6 the year before in 25 games. And according to Fangraphs, at least, he's very good. So maybe this isn't the worst trade, but I still think I wouldn't pull the trigger. I wouldn't pull the trigger if I'm the Padres. I don't want to know if you think this is good or bad. I just want to know who you think wins this trade. Do both teams benefit? Do the Rays benefit from getting Aaron Judge? Or do the Yankees benefit from getting a slightly younger Randy Arozarena, who's a playoff hero, only into technically his 2nd season? Who wins this trade? Who loses this trade? Do you think both teams win this trade? I just want to know what you think. Now, I need you to let me know if you think the Yankees would accept Manuel Margot and 35-year-old Corey Kluber on an $8 million salary, a player they've already had and let walk, for Jason Dominguez, a prospect that they're very high on. I believe he's prospect number 3. Do you think the Yankees accept this trade? We're going to have to stay on the Yankees and see if there's a few more other trades, because I know the Yankees are stingy and there's some players they don't want to give. I know there's a whole meme how, we'll trade Clint Frazier and Miguel Andujar for Mike Trout. So, do you think the Yankees would accept Jason Dominguez for that? Is that enough value? And then also taking on 11.4 million. I could make the exact same trade for Davy Garcia, probably Luis Gil. Yeah. Yeah, I mean that. Yeah, I get that one. Do I get that one? I mean, the Yankees are gonna go ahead and send their number one prospect, Anthony Volpe, for Jonathan Aranda, Taj Bradley, and Heriberto Hernandez, who's deep potential 63 overall. I mean, yeah, you could farm literally all the prospects in this game. It would not be hard. You could literally farm all the top 100 prospects on one roster if you want to. It would not be hard. Another really high Yankee prospect, Oswald Peraza. I believe he's number two shortstop. No, he's number 2 overall. Oswald Peraza, 70, 21 years old. I believe he is closer to being called up than Anthony. But I believe Anthony has a higher ceiling, and I traded him for Jonathan Aranda and 2D prospects. I could probably you can probably put in any B potential prospect in there. Not even 2Ds and a C for Oswald Peraza. That's crazy. How about the number 1 prospect in all of baseball, Bobby Witt? Obviously he's had some playing time already. In AAA, only for service time manipulation. All it took was a C potential right fielder, a C potential starting pitcher, and a first baseman, a B potential first baseman, Jonathan Aranda. He must have high value because I can fit him into pretty much any trade and get the number 1 prospect in all of baseball. All right, here's me trading for the number 2 prospect, Adley Rutschman, for Victor Mejia, a catcher. D potential catcher. I guess potential doesn't mean too much. And I'll be honest, it doesn't, because we are also trading a C potential second baseman. And yeah, I'm going to say it doesn't mean anything because this is my boy Santiago Espinal, D potential. He's not D potential, he's A potential. All right, the guy's a stud. That's my boy. And then we also traded a starting pitcher named Rafael, Adam. Adam. Okay, so we traded a B potential, C potential, and a D potential for the number 2 prospect, Adley Rutschman. I can do this all day. The next is Julio Rodriguez. The exact same trade for Julio Rodriguez also goes through. The exact same trade goes for Akil Baddoo. Probably wouldn't take much to get him. So for Spencer Torkelson, number 4 prospect. Oh, this one kind of hurts. Same starting pitcher. I think he was a D potential. B potential. All right, so a solid pickup there, right? A D potential or B potential starting pitcher and a C potential second baseman, Rafael Antigua, for the number 4 prospect in all of baseball. I think this is where I gotta stop because I can do this all day and it's kind of giving me a headache. It would not be hard. You could literally trade for a top 100 prospect team and all these teams will come away with it for very minimal. And I could probably get back more than just Spencer Torkelson and work those back into trades. And then, oh, this is ridiculous. Anyways, I think I've had enough.